On a quiet street in a small town, there lived a curious little boy named Toby. He was the kind of boy who loved to explore, ask questions, and imagine. But there was one thing Toby never paid much attention to, his shadow. That all changed one sunny afternoon. Toby was outside, skipping stones across the pond in his backyard. As he bent down to pick up another stone, he noticed something strange. His shadow wasn't just following his movements. It was moving on its own. Toby froze, holding the stone in midair. His shadow, however, didn't freeze. Instead, it did a little twirl and then waved at him. "What in the world?" Toby whispered, rubbing his eyes. "Hi there," said the shadow in a cheerful voice. "I'm your shadow, and I've been waiting for you to notice me." Toby dropped the stone in shock. "You can talk and move?" The shadow nodded. "Of course. I've always been here, but I thought it was time to show you what I can really do." "Like what?" Toby asked, still amazed. The shadow grinned, if shadows could grin, and began to dance. It leaped, twirled, and even did a backflip. Toby couldn't help but laugh. "You're amazing," Toby said. "Do you have a name?" "You can call me Shade," the shadow replied with a bow. From that moment on, Toby and Shade became inseparable. Shade taught Toby how to dance, and Toby introduced Shade to all his favorite activities. The two would spend hours playing in the backyard, inventing games, and making each other laugh. One Monday morning, as Toby got ready for school, Shade piped up. "Can I come to school with you today?" Toby hesitated. "I don't know. What if someone notices you?" "Don't worry. I'll stay out of sight," Shade promised. Toby nodded, and the two headed to school. At first, everything went smoothly. Shade stayed close to Toby, mimicking his every move like a normal shadow. But by lunchtime, Shade couldn't resist having a little fun. While Toby ate his sandwich, Shade slipped away and began pulling pranks. It untied shoelaces, made silly faces on the walls, and even tickled the teacher's nose. The entire class erupted in laughter, but no one knew what was causing the chaos. Toby realized what was happening and whispered, "Shade, stop it. You're going to get me in trouble." Shade returned to Toby's side, looking sheepish. "Sorry, Toby. I just wanted to make the day more fun." But the damage was done. The teacher gave Toby a stern look. "Toby, I don't know how you're doing all this, but it needs to stop." Toby nodded, his cheeks turning red. After school, Toby and Shade sat under the oak tree in the backyard. "Shade, you can't just do whatever you want," Toby said. "We're a team, but you have to listen to me." Shade sighed. "You're right. I'll try to behave." Toby smiled. "Good. Now, let's practice some new dance moves." The next day, Toby had an idea. "Shade, what if we showed the class you're dancing? But only if you promise not to pull any pranks." Shade's eyes lit up. "You mean it?" "I promise to behave." During show and tell, Toby stood in front of the class. "I want to show you something special," he said. "Meet Shade, my shadow." The class gasped as Shade stepped out from behind Toby and began to dance. It spun, twirled, and even juggled imaginary balls. The students and teacher clapped and cheered. "That was incredible, Toby," the teacher said. Your shadow is very talented. Toby grinned. Thank you. Shade and I make a great team. From then on, Toby and Shade became the stars of the school. They performed at assemblies, helped out during art class. They even used Shade's pranks to make the principal laugh. Toby had learned to balance Shade's playful nature with responsibility, and together, they turned every day into an adventure. And as the sun set each evening, casting long shadows across the ground, Toby and Shade would dance.